Gript has learned that the Irish police on Garda Síochána obtained a court order to analyse our personal Twitter, not only the Twitter of our company but also of everyone who works for Gript. And they did this in relation, it seems, to a protest in Newtown and Kennedy in relation to the housing of asylum seekers in a small town. What do you think about the actions of Garda Síochána in that regard?
Well, I think it's an outrageous invasion of privacy that people's private messages sent in good faith, not something for the public sphere, which is the very nature of private messages, can then be extracted and be for the examination of the state. I think it's indicative of a wider problem that's going on just now, where state intrusion into our private affairs is becoming ever more common, often behind the scenes, so no one particularly knows about what's going on. The companies and the state agencies think perhaps they're on dodgy ground, but they're still willing to go behind it because they think they won't necessarily be exposed into the public sphere. So I think it's outrageous, and I'm very glad that it's come out and that people are taking a stand against it.
And in terms of, journalists' ability to protect their sources, they wanted also to access our DMs for, I believe, a 4-day period. What would you say about that the impact on that of journalists being able to protect sources, which is obviously something fundamental to our ability to do our jobs?
It's the primary thing about journalism, is that you have sources, and the information from those sources remains a matter of privacy. That's how a journalist inquires into things. It's how they get stories. It's right that it happens that way because people do not need to expose themselves personally when they're giving information on a topic. So privacy regarding that is just so fundamental to how society operates, because as soon as things move from being private messages into a matter of public examination, then people are quite frankly not going to talk in the way that they would. They'll talk only in a very guarded way. They won't necessarily give the journalists the information that they know, that they think should become a part of the public sphere. So is the end of journalism in a way if privacy and sources are not protected.
I think it's pretty shocking. I gather it's not unprecedented, but for the Irish police to demand that X turn over all the details of Gript journalists, including private messages they've DM'd to each other on X in pursuit of a criminal investigation, seems to be real state overreach. Journalists need to be able to protect their sources, protect their privacy. They can't operate if the police are going to be able to get hold of all their data, all their private communications. It's pretty outrageous, and I would hope that there are some constitutional protections in Ireland to push back against this kind of intrusion.